Welcome to Midwest Manufactured Live, where we tell the stories of great manufacturers, what they're doing to innovate, grow, and stay competitive in their industries. Plus, we always learn some lessons that they've learned along the way. Now, today we're here with Teresa Beach, Shelow from Superior Joining Technologies. I have a list of things that you can be noted for that I'm going to read. And you can sit there with an embarrassed look. Yeah. Co-founder of Women of Today's Manufacturing, past president of Northern Illinois chapter of Association of Women in Metal Industries, the co-founder of Manufacturing Alliance of the Rock River Valley, co-founder of Enterprise Development Growth and Excellence, which provides education, counseling, funding access, and other development assistance to women in business, a founding board member of Rockford Area Ventures, which develops knowledge-based economy in the Rockford area. Also, you spearheaded the creation of Manufacturing Camp, a week-long camp for 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. It's now run by an organization called Nuts, Bolts, and Thingamajigs. I love that name.
Yes.
And the camp is held in 146 cities across the country. And also, most recently, the 2019 YWCA Women of Achievement Award for Mentorship. Teresa Beach, Shelow, you have done a lot. And this, I know, is just a fraction of the things that you've accomplished throughout your career. So, at the end of this broadcast, we do want folks to stick around. At the end of this broadcast, we're also going to unveil for you the Poopsies Corporate Appreciation Gift Box. Now, I know that you're into fun things, and I also know that you're into appreciating people. Poopsies makes it easy with hands-off shopping. We'll get to that at the end. But, Teresa, Superior Joining Technologies, tell us just really briefly what Superior Joining Technologies does.
Well, we've always been innovating the welding process from the time we were in the garage to now. And right now we're moving into additive manufacturing. We started with doing it with polymers. Now we're blowing powder into the laser weld. And we have 2 big crates that were delivered last Friday. And we have a new machine that's going to grow metal twice the size of this glass.
Really?
Yeah, so they'll put the powder down, the laser beam will create the shape, powder, laser beam, and we're going to grow metal parts.
So you pour powder down, the laser beam hits it, and that forms that solidifies that powder into a solid.
Yes, and we're doing that with partnership with NIU and the students there so that they can write safety qualification certs, calibrate the machine, and learn how to use it, because we want to grow this industry in the Rockford area.
Yeah.
So we can't just know about it in our walls. We have to tell everybody in the community and train young people to be interested in it. It's just a first step.
Yeah, so that's additive manufacturing.
Additive manufacturing.
Really interesting. What are some practical applications of additive manufacturing?
Well, what we're seeing 3D printed on airplanes right now, because we're mainly aerospace, are different brackets and holding items and things that don't need a lot of strength. But you can now add strength into the metals, and the sky's the limit. It's new.
Yeah.
It's going to change the industry, and we want to be a part of it.
Yeah, so you've made significant investment in making this happen.
That's right.
And then, like you're talking about, you've partnered with NIU because it's not just about your competitive advantage.
Yes.
Because you've always got, it seems to me that you always have this focus on what is this, how is this impacting positively in our community?
Yes.
And then for the younger generation as well coming up, how do we influence them?
Yeah, and we have to have a good, solid manufacturing base across the U.S. And manufacturing is important here in our region, so we're here and we're leading the way for new technology.
Now, Superior Joining Technologies has been around since when?
1992.
1992.
Yes.
All right. So that's you've got quite a bit of experience in leading manufacturing. And this is not the only time that you've made these significant steps forward in investing in technology. What have been some other times?
In 2009, we bought a 5,000 watt CO2 laser. There were only 4 in the United States, 1 on each coast, 1 in Lafayette, Louisiana. And then we brought this one to the Midwest, where within 200 to 300 miles, a really large portion of manufacturing happens in our country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we are kind of this little hub.
Yes.
So we're located right outside Chicago.
Yes.
Where do you do business with your customers?
All over the U.S. and Canada.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
And you mentioned mostly a lot of aerospace.
85% aerospace.
Okay.
It's all about certifications for me.
Yeah.
FAA repair station, NADCAP, AS9100.
Wow. So you've got the technology, you've got the certifications, you obviously have the training, and then talk to us also how are you impacting then the community and the younger generation? What are you doing practically to bring them into manufacturing?
Well, since 2000, that has been the question. The average age of manufacturers then was 55. It's really went up a little bit now because not everybody's retired like they thought. But we said, how are we going to encourage young people? So we started with manufacturing camp and then robotics. So we support all the robotics teams. And the first robotics team that came was 17 years ago. And we welded the frame, and we've been welding robotics frames for 17 years. We also do funding. We provide 10,000 square feet to Rockford 2039, free of charge. 40 or 50 people are there every Saturday, several nights a week. They come about 6. When I left work last night at 9, they were leaving also.
Really?
Because they're in their build and competition season right now. So then there's Lego League for junior hires, and then scholarships. So it's really important that high school students go into a manufacturing related field in our community, because over 25% of our community is getting their weekly paycheck from a manufacturing facility or related field. And it's really important.
Yeah. So where does this heart and this drive come from to reinvest so much in the community?
Well, we feel so blessed. The American dream has been, we had an idea to start a business in our garage, and we've been able to grow it to 28 employees, several $1 million, in sales, and then an outreach with our reputation that goes all over the world.
Yeah. And you do have quite the reputation.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone in this area knows you. And as we were talking before the broadcast, you've accomplished a lot, and people have obviously noticed that, and they want to bestow on you awards. But that's not why you do it. No. You do it because
I want to change lives. I believe, and especially for women right now, they're over 51% of the population is women. There are these manufacturing, high-tech, fun jobs where we can use our mind, use our problem solving, use our manual dexterity that we have, things that we bring to the table that are really high-end positives that manufacturing companies in our region can use. So we want to inspire anyone, male or female, to go into manufacturing. But I really feel it's a place that women can thrive right now. There's more openness to it, and especially the way things are going with computers and the high-tech solutions, and then the inspiring that we're doing with camps and robotics teams. Those ladies are getting excited. They're staying excited. They say girls are excited about that kind of thing till 5th grade, 6th grade, and so we're able to keep them excited and then fund their progress. If a woman is doing a second career, don't pay for it yourself. There's scholarships at Rock Valley. WOTM has their scholarship at the Community Foundation. And then businesses will, if you come in as an entry-level person, we'll pay for your education. We're just looking for talented, strong-minded individuals to come and work with us.
Yeah. Now, you weren't always in manufacturing.
No.
What was your first career?
My first career was in banking. I was, that's when you had to count the money and not put it in a machine.
Right?
So, yes.
And it was your husband then who started
Yes.
this.
But even before he started his own business, at night at the table, he would talk about all these neat different types of hydroforming, spin forming, all these exotic metal processes, and that's what we use to make our parts. And he took us all over the U.S. on tours.
Really?
On vacation or weekends so the girls and I've been all to all kinds of neat facilities around the U.S.
All right, and
so
then
we learned.
Yeah, so you came into manufacturing. So you this concept of second career or something that's not foreign to you.
No,
you
I was
came
in
into
my
manufacturing.
30s. Yeah, I was in my 30s when I started in manufacturing, and just really it was inspired by the people that are in manufacturing. There are great people that work in manufacturing. It's fun to deal with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you get into the creation of the parts and the components? I mean, you're talking pretty knowledge. Obviously you're very knowledgeable on how these parts are formed and how these things come together. Have you developed that passion through?
Right. It's all about sales. I had to make payroll, and I had to feed my family at first.
Yeah.
Then the girls went off. But it's all about feeding families on Friday. So as much as I can talk about the technical part of what we're doing, I'm unique as a woman, so I have the opportunity, if I can get somebody's ear, to talk to them, and I know enough to be dangerous, and then bring them in and let them really talk to the people. I don't weld and I don't drive the lift trucks, but I'll do anything else.
Really?
Yes.
Sorry. So back to this idea of growing metal.
Yes.
It sounds very simple.
Yes.
Growing metal.
Yes.
Get a little bit into the technical part of that. You say there's a powder, put a laser on it,
Yes.
forms it into a solid,
Yes.
and it gets you're adding on to an existing structure.
Nope, we're creating a structure.
You're creating a structure
from nothing.
From nothing.
Yes.
All right.
So there would be just this flat table, and then
Yeah.
we're going to put a layer of powder. It's it's like cake flour. It's very small particles.
Okay.
And then we'll program the laser to do a shape. Let's just say it's going to be an X. So
Okay.
the laser will come across and go X.
Yeah.
Then another layer of powder, and then X. And then we'll build it up from nothing. And so then the question is it strong?
Yeah.
What's the integrity? Is
Yep.
it smooth? Is it something that someone can use? But more than that, because of aerospace, and this is why we're starting to practice with it, and we started practicing with polymers because we did a lot of flat things. Like if you weld, you draw a flat line
Yep.
or weld a flat line. So now we're dealing with three-dimensional shapes and programming, being able to see them on the computer screen and then work with it. So that's what we're trying to do with the metal, is then we have to bring it into the Boeings of the world, the Lockheeds, they say they want the latest technology, but they don't really have an easy path for that.
Yeah.
They want certain certifications. They want proof that it's going to work and break, and or not break. And
Yep.
if you're on a 20-year airplane program, parts have to last for 20 years.
Yeah.
And so it's very important. So there's a lot of upfront work, and you'd think that the companies that make the machines would be doing that,
Yeah.
but they aren't.
Really?
Yeah, it's all on us. So somebody has to step forward.
Yeah.
The schools are able to do it, but these machines cost a lot of money. It's a big investment on our part
So it's
to
not
get
just
into this industry.
So even though it's I guess similar to 3D printing, right? With that you might do with a plastic.
it is.
Now you're doing it with metal.
Yes.
You've made the investment.
Yes.
And the gap that you've identified in the market is that the people who make these machines aren't doing what you're doing, and the OEMs, the people who are using those parts, right? They're not making the investment and trying to figure out, how can we build these components and how can we test them and make sure that they're going to last 20 years.
There is some truth to that. I understand they have R&D, but the people that are working with the solutions that the customer is looking at, we need to be ahead of I'll give an example. There was somebody just cutting tubes with a hacksaw kind of thing, real rough, doing a lot of grinding and everything. So then they came to a trade show and saw that we could very meticulously cut tubes with our laser, and then the fit up's perfect.
Yeah.
So they came to us and started sending these tubes for cutting. Well, now it's really fast, it's cheaper, they're more competitive. So they've doubled their business by partnering with us, a solution that we had.
Yeah.
So we feel that that's what's going to happen with this growing metal, is somebody's going to have a reason to do it, and we're going to be able to partner with them to come up with the solution. So of course but more than that is that we're going to work to getting it certified so that it can go on an airplane, so that it can be in an aerospace solution.
Yeah.
That's going to be our focus. When we bought the laser, I worked with United Technologies, and we wrote a 5-page document that allowed them to use laser technology in their process. So we partnered. It took us 18 months, so there's a long lead time with it, and that's how. And so we were the first certified company that could use lasers in their process.
Wow. So you're seeing what's coming next, and then you're always pushing into it.
We hope that we are. We hope. You wait, because this isn't new technology, but it is newer, and we hope that we got in at the right price for playing around, and then we'll be able to build and go on from there with new equipment that's being invented while we're sitting here.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. I appreciate the technical explanation. I think
I hope I did it.
Well, I think you did. I think you nailed it. And I know that the people who view this appreciate that as well. Maybe think back. You've been doing this for some time, and you have a wealth of experience. You understand the industry. You understand the region. You understand the challenges. You understand how the reinvestment necessary for the next generation. What are maybe a couple principles or one or two principles that sort of guide you when you're making these decisions? Should we invest in this? Should we like the technology? What principles do you employ to make that decision?
Well, one of them is networking with lots of people
Okay.
that know, and just be finding out who's asking questions, who's creating. Look for the creators, the inventors, the people that are reading about interesting new things that are, sometimes these new ideas are just in a little paragraph in a journal or something.
Yeah.
So being educated through a networking group, and then not saying no, not being satisfied with we've went as far, because the world is changing and it's fun. And if you're 80 years old and you really can't use a computer and you have a hard time using a cell phone, at some point you made that decision to not keep going.
To not progress, yeah.
And so as a manufacturing company, as a person in our manufacturing community, you can't be satisfied with where you are.
Yeah.
You have to be moving forward.
Awesome. Well, as I promised our viewers and you,
Yes.
we do have the Poopsies Corporate Appreciation gift box. It's always exciting when that flies in. Now, so here's the thing. Poopsies has a fantastic store in downtown Galena. Have you
I've
been
been
to Poopsies?
there, yes.
Poopsies is fun,
Yes,
isn't it?
it's fun.
Yeah, so they make showing appreciation easy with what I call hands-off shopping, because there's a little-known feature at Poopsies, or fact about Poopsies, is they have this thing called Poopsies Live, where they can actually walk you using FaceTime or some
Around
other
the
video. They can
store?
walk you around the store, so that if
Wow.
you want to shop from afar, you can do that, right? Or if you just want to call them up and say, hey, I've got 20 people, here's approximately what I'm looking for, or how much I want to spend, they'll package it all up and ship it out to you.
Oh, fine.
All through their e-commerce store. So
Thank
we
you.
want to present you with your Poopsies
Okay.
Corporate Appreciation gift
So
box.
there's Poopsies.
Let's see what we got here.
Ooh. Be awesome today. Absolutely. Thank
Oh.
you. So that's going to be inspirational motto of the day cards. Wonderful.
Inspirational note cards. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you. I love it. Thank you.
Well, before we go, tell people how they can get in contact with Superior Joining Technologies, or maybe if they want to find a career in manufacturing, how can they start engaging with you and all the things that you're involved in?
Right, and we have a part on our website about education. And so you can go to superiorjt.com, SUPERIOR, as in joining, T as in technologies.com. And the other site that I like to talk about is WOTM in Rockford. So
Yeah.
Women of Today's Manufacturing. Yeah.
Awesome. Teresa, thanks for
Thank
being
you.
on Midwest Manufactured Live.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, you have been watching Midwest Manufactured Live, where we tell the stories of great manufacturers and what they're doing to innovate, grow, and stay ahead of the curve. And we've certainly found out some fascinating things today. Thanks for joining us. Watch us live on YouTube or go watch replays at midwestmanufactured.com.